All right, let's just jump right into it. How do you actually double your deadlift in just 12 weeks? I mean, going from a 100 kilo pull to a massive 200 kilo deadlift, that sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, today we're going to break down a program that lays out the exact path to do just that, and it's based on some seriously world-class advice. And listen, this isn't just some random program you found online. We're pulling this straight from the mind of the Australian strength coach. You know, the guy who coached Thor Bjornsson to a 510 kilo world record deadlift. Yeah, he uses these exact same principles with the strongest people on the planet, and now we get to learn them. So, what's the secret sauce for this kind of insane progress? You might think it's all about just brute force, but it's not. It's about taking a much smarter path to strength, one that helps you dodge the single biggest and most dangerous deadlifting mistake out there. And what is that mistake? It's the trap that so many of us fall into. You just keep adding a little more weight to the bar every single week, pushing heavier and heavier, until, like the coach says, something goes pop. He knows this because it happened to him, and this entire program is built from the ground up to make sure that never happens to you. So here's the big takeaway. The answer isn't just to mindlessly pile on more plates. The real key, the secret to a massive and safe deadlift, is to first build a way stronger, more resilient foundation. In this program builds that foundation over 12 weeks, and it's split into 3 very distinct 4-week phases. First up, you've got accumulation, where we build up our capacity. Then transmutation, where we turn that capacity into raw strength. And finally, realization, the peak, where we go and pull that new personal record. Let's dig into phase 1.
All right, phase 1, accumulation. For the first 4 weeks, it's all about one thing, building our capacity. And this is where things get a little weird, a little counterintuitive. To eventually lift super heavy, we're actually going to start by lifting light.
Yeah, you heard me right. So the whole goal here is high volume with low intensity. We're not chasing big numbers yet. Instead, we're building our work capacity, we're packing on muscle, and we're making our joints and connective tissues tougher. We're basically building a body that can handle the seriously heavy loads we're going to throw at it later. Now, the protocol for this phase is brutally effective. The exercise? A snatch grip deadlift from a deficit. That super wide grip and standing on a platform forces you into a much longer range of motion, which makes it way harder. And the volume? An absolutely staggering 10 sets of 6 reps. You start light, just 45% of your 1 rep max, and you take a full 3 minutes of rest between sets. This is all about building endurance and a bulletproof back. You have to understand, this phase is all about checking your ego at the gym door. It's pure, unglamorous foundation work. But believe me, once that foundation is rock solid, we can start building some serious strength on top of it. So, let's move into phase 2. Okay, foundation's built. Now for the fun part. Welcome to phase 2, transmutation. This is where we take all that muscle and work capacity we just spent a month building and start forging it into pure, unadulterated strength. And right here, you can see the total 180 we're pulling. Where phase 1 was all about high volume and low intensity, phase 2 completely flips the script. The volume drops way down, and the intensity, the weight on the bar, starts to really climb. Our goal isn't just work capacity anymore. It's about pure, raw strength. Think of it like this. Phase 1 built you a bigger, more powerful engine. Phase 2 is where we tune that engine for maximum horsepower. We're teaching all that new muscle how to contract harder, faster, and produce more force. We're literally turning that muscle size into serious strength. So, the protocol for weeks 5 through 8 is super simple and focused. We're working in the 3 to 6 rep range. That's the absolute sweet spot, the money zone for strength development. And that means we're using heavier loads, right around 80% of your max and climbing up from there. And the key thing to remember here is that we are building strength. We're not constantly testing it by maxing out. And that brings us to the final 4 weeks. This is it. Phase 3, the realization phase. This is the home stretch. It's where we cash in on all that hard work, we shed all the fatigue, and we let our true peak strength finally shine through. So what exactly is a peaking phase? Well, it's a super strategic reduction in your training volume. See, after 8 weeks of really hard training, you've built a ton of strength, but you've also built up a lot of fatigue. That fatigue actually masks how strong you are. So to reveal your true 1 rep max, you have to let that fatigue fade away. We do that by cutting back on volume, which lets the body recover and get ready to perform at its absolute best. The protocol here is all about specificity. We switch to the conventional deadlift, the exact lift we want to test, and over these 4 weeks, we systematically drop the reps on our heaviest set. Week 9, you hit a top set of 4. Week 10, a top set of 3. Week 11, a heavy double. And then in week 12, it's go time. Time for that new 1-rep max. This process gradually teaches your nervous system the specific skill of an all-out single lift. Okay, so we've got the training program completely dialed in, but you can't build a skyscraper without steel and concrete, right? You absolutely need the right fuel. So let's talk about the science of actually fueling these gains. You know, when it comes to fueling this kind of intense training, the science is actually surprisingly simple. Decades of research consistently point to 2 absolute heavyweights for strength athletes: animal-based protein and good old creatine monohydrate. Protein gives you the building blocks to repair and grow muscle, and creatine helps your muscles crank out energy super fast during those heavy, explosive lifts. So, how much protein are we talking about? Well, the evidence is overwhelming. You want to be aiming for over 2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight every single day. That's the level of intake that's been shown time and time again to really optimize muscle gains when you're training this hard. And for creatine, it's even simpler. A maintenance dose of just 5 grams a day. That's it. That small amount is consistently shown in hundreds of studies to boost muscle mass, strength, and power. It's one of the safest and most proven supplements on the planet. And this really brings the whole concept together. It's not one thing or the other. It's a 2-part formula for success. On one side, you have smart, phased programming that builds you up without breaking you down. And on the other, you have precise, science-backed nutrition to fuel the whole process. You absolutely need both working together to make this happen. So there you have it. The entire roadmap is laid out for you, from a high-volume foundation work all the way to that final glorious peak. The nutritional science is crystal clear, and it's simple. The only real question left is the one right there on your screen. How strong will you become in 12 weeks?